right, Eric, thanks for coming to Q105.3. Anybody that's watching us can see right here we got you coming. Three Kings coming to Three Kings tribute coming to Victory North. I know this isn't the first time you've done this. I actually got to see the last show that you did, which, man, you guys are absolutely fantastic live. And so
Awesome.
anybody that's thinking about anybody that's on the fence, go see it. Anybody that's never seen it, go check it out. But Eric, why don't you tell me a little bit about what really inspired you to do this Three Kings show?
Um, I guess I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so. This is the fifth annual one, by the way. We did one about 10 years ago, and it was at the Lucas or somewhere. But anyway, it was right after we did a show for the Life's a Carnival. It was a tribute to the band. And so the next year, I wanted to do something. So the thought popped into my head. I've always heard the phrase Three Kings. And so I'm like, yeah, let's do a Three Kings, a blues trilogy tribute to, my favorite three guys, and it went over well. It was amazing. But then the next time came around and everything timed out. And then, things were happening, and then COVID hit, and then it just went on for several years with no action. And then in 2022, I was like, we need to do this because people have been through, the grinder with this COVID thing, and like they need like a feel good story to, we need something local to really like get, put it out there. And it sold out like three times. We kept making more room because we don't pack the place. We have a certain amount of tickets so everyone can be comfortable. But anyway, people were outside around the block. So we're like, well, gotta let them in. So we kept selling tickets. But and then that was 5 years ago, and it was 4 years ago. But five events. This is the fifth one, and every year it's amazing. The reason I want to do it is because I love the music and I know that there's an audience for it.
Terrific. Yeah, I mean, if we can dig in a little deeper into that, for those that don't know, who are the Three Kings, and then why do you feel they're so important, basically to music itself and to you?
Yeah, great question, man. The Three Kings, Freddie King, Albert King, and BB King, and they were each instrumental in putting the blues in more of a commercial, but no sacrifice of the blues. I don't mean like commercialized. I mean widespread, more visible. And they did it in their own way. And BB King and Freddie King and Albert King, they were the top guys, and they did the blues. Each one they did the blues their own different way. You can hear one guy from this group, from one of the three guys, and immediately. If you listen to any of the music, you'll know immediately which one's which. And they have their trademark sound, and they've had their trademark effect on popularizing the blues and bringing it out to the masses. And they're still going. They've all passed, but the music is still alive and well. And I think, BB died not too long ago, and he was the last one. And I think it's just important to keep the music alive because it means so much to American music in general. It's changed the shape of pop music and everything, like every kind of type of music you can think of. It's been influenced one way or another by the blues. And these guys had it, So I want to keep that music alive, and I want to give it to the people, you know, uh, in a situation like this where we can really just give them one hell of a concert, and just stick right with the blues and do the real stuff.
Are these guys that you've known since you were a kid, or when did you first kind of get introduced to this type of music? And then how did it really start to infiltrate? Because you're not just an artist who just does dedications to other artists. You have your own band and you've created your own albums and music. So, how did it start to kind of infiltrate into your music?
Well, you can't. I just kind of naturally gravitated, towards blues as a kid. Um, when I was a kid, all the theme songs and everything to, in the '70s, all the theme songs, all the TV shows, Sanford and Son, and Good Times. Everything was funky and
Right.
great and cool. And anyways, I grew up in that kind of era, and then of course, my family played music and all that, but the the blues I just kind of naturally, it was a feeling. It was just a feeling that I naturally gravitated to, and the more I heard, the more I liked, and the more I liked it, the more I wanted to play it. And so I started playing that as a young, teen, and just messing around with it a little bit, but mostly got into it like, late teens, early 20s, started digging in hard, playing, traveling after the band was formed. And, 36 years later, here we are. So, but yeah, it's impossible to escape the shadow of either one of these guys if you're going to play music, in this genre. You gotta have, these are three essential, musicians that represent, uh, you know, three different styles of blues, but they're all so amazingly awesome. Like it's so much fun and so much energy. I just dig it so much. And of course, they're not the only ones. There's Muddy Waters and all these other guys, but for what we're doing with the horns sections, we've got the three-piece Memphis-style horn. The guys coming in from Atlanta again, the same guys that have been with us every year. They're up in Georgia State getting their degrees in music, and it's amazing what they're doing. And then we've got Tony Coleman, who was BB King's band leader and drummer for the last 30 years, right up until his passing. And we have Bob Wilson, who recorded Nashville Skyline. If you've ever heard the song "Lay Lady Lay" by Bob Dylan, that's Bob Wilson on the keys for that whole album. And he did a bunch of other stuff, with Earl Scruggs and all those guys. He's in the Country Music Hall of Fame. He's recorded with J.J. Cale and done a bunch of stuff. He's an amazing producer, all that stuff. So we've got Bob and we got Tony, man. But the connection with this whole thing is that Bob used to tour with Freddie King. So and he also and Tony played with Albert and BB King as well. So we got the real deal coming in, and they're just landmark. They're just landmark people and I'm so blessed to have them, and then the horn guys, and then my band. I'm really blessed to be able to work with such talented musicians and notable, notable musicians. They're the best guys in the world, and I think it shows. We have a lot of fun on stage, man. When we get going, it's on.
I mean, it's so hard to describe the feeling that you get seeing you guys up on stage. I mean, there's nothing that I love better when I go to see live music and watching the musicians really and not only enjoying themselves, but really start feeding off of each other. And I
Yep.
mean, you as their leader, you're up there, you're really, you take the initiative, you set it off, and I feel like they follow your lead, and you guys are just off and running. And
Yeah.
can you just talk a little bit more about, as maybe a newbie coming to the show, what can I expect out of you guys? What am I going to see up there?
Oh man, like you're just gonna get a huge dose of high energy stuff, man. It's gonna make you move. It's gonna make you feel. It's gonna make you think. You can relate to all this stuff. The blues is all about the human condition, and we're playing the funky. We got a really killer set this year. We're also gonna be all killer. No filler as usual. but you're gonna have a good time, man. It's nothing but a good time. It's just a high energy. We leave a little bit of space in each song so that we can ad lib, like stuff that we don't practice. We might just throw a horn solo in there somewhere, or have somebody go off and do something, drum solo or whatever. We just we leave room in there to have fun, and it's kind of like like hot potato sometime, but then you'll see if you come in and you're just a little bit curious about what's going on. I promise you'll leave a changed person. Yeah, you will.
And I feel like it's in those moments that you let it breathe that you really just can find that little bit of magic happening where you get to see the creative process between
Yeah,
musicians,
yeah,
and as a person that I love music, but I am definitely not a musician. It's
right,
so fun to watch, man. I
right
mean,
on.
just
I
to see the
appreciate that.
creativity happening. I mean, it's super cool. So will there be any of your stuff in there, or this is strictly like kind of
We're
almost
we're
dedications
we've
or
got we've got it pretty fine tuned to just doing their material. We have a block from each artist, and at this point right now, normally I kind of set it up to where it comes in hot, and then it has dynamics. Maybe a couple of like a really we come in and then drop it down for a slower song, bring it back up, and all that. But this year, I'm thinking about just doing an Albert King block, Freddie King block, and a BB King block, and um, then aligning the dynamics within each artist. So we would have the up and downs for that, fast song, slow song in the middle, get out with a kick ass song, and then start the next block. So we've got about, I don't know, 6 or 7 songs each, from each artist, each king, and they're really they're on fire, man. I can't wait to play these songs. They're so much fun and so good, man. It's combined funk and combined like shuffles and Texas swings and all that stuff, man. It's just going to be a great show. So I'm looking forward to that.
now do you stay mostly in the classics that most people know, or do you put in some deep cuts for the true fans of the Three Kings?
You'll recognize some of the stuff if you're just an occasional blues listener. You'll recognize some of the songs, but for the most part, it's going to be, even if you're a lot of people have heard, if you're a blues fan, okay, you'll recognize a lot of this stuff. You may not recognize some of the songs, but we're not doing a whole lot of like I say, we're not doing a whole lot of you know we don't ever do any kind of like filler stuff. So we're pulling stuff from way back, and like things that you probably don't normally hear, but it's gonna lift your wig. You know what I mean? It's gonna get you. So everything's cool with that. And whether you know it or not, you're gonna feel like you know it. You
Right,
know,
right.
you'll definitely connect. You know.
Now, is this a Savannah only event, or do you
It
guys
is for
do this
now. It
elsewhere?
is for
Okay.
now. Yeah, we're looking for. I've been talking to Charleston, some people in Charleston about doing a back to back, so we could come in and do a Friday here and a Saturday there, maybe. So next year it could be growing. We're also toying with the idea of putting a blues festival around the centerpiece of the Three Kings and that part of the neighborhood in Starland, and
Okay.
have food trucks in different stages all over the place. That's my ultimate goal. That's what I really want to do. But
Oh,
that's
that'd
a
be
lot of juggling, So we got to, sponsors make this happen. Without sponsors, nobody would be coming to these shows, and none of the musicians would be here, so it'd be over with. So looking forward to talking to some new sponsorship for next year too. So
do you have? I think the last time we talked, you said you were working on some new music. Are you? Do
yeah.
you continue to? I mean, obviously, as a musician, I know you're always writing, always creating.
I don't. I mean, I do. I don't. You know, it's no rhyme or reason to my creative process. Sometimes it's there, and sometimes not. I just let it happen. I do have stuff. I do have some ideas, and that we've got some rough tracks recorded of those, and that'll probably happen too before too long. So hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have a new CD out, and you know, it's like a glorified business card now. You know, but yeah,
it is. The CDs are, you're dating yourself a little bit, but I'm right there with you, brother. I mean, I prefer a cassette tape or an 8-track if you can get your hands on it, or even an LP. You know, I mean, I love the crackle of vinyl.
Right on. I'm not opposed to that either.
Yeah, yeah. Talk to me a little bit more about these guys. You were saying that they're coming in from a college. Is that what you would say?
No, they're up there, got their masters, and they've been studying at Georgia State up in Atlanta.
Okay.
And
Are these the guys that played with you last year as well?
Every year, yeah,
okay.
Every year they've been here this will be the 5th. So, and they come down but they transcribe some of the music. Some of these songs don't have sheet music for the horns, so they have to by the ear write all that stuff down.
Wow.
And transcribe it, and it's pretty amazing. So you know, it's a welcomed crew of guys that are doing this, because honestly, to have somebody to try to transcribe all this stuff is crazy. You know, it's like trying to find somebody that has the time. But the main guys, his name's Haniel Mastriani Levi, and he does the transcribing. We've got Trent Patton on on trumpet, and then Justin Golding on the other sax. So Haniel plays sax as well, 2 saxes and a trumpet, and they come down as a unit, and but they're all buddies up there, you know. So they're all. But they're great guys, and I mean, from the get go, they were killing it. So every year it gets better, and we're all very kind of like, something's happening, like new. There's a new vibe this year, so we're super excited about doing it. I think it's going to blast. So nice. I'm ready.
All right. Well, I'm excited to come in and catch you guys live. I think it's going to be amazing. Again, y'all are going to be at Victory North on May 23rd. At 8 p.m. And I mean, Victory North is a great venue. Love it there.
It really is.
They really put on a heck of a show. We're lucky to have, you know, a concert venue like theirs in town.
I agree. I can't wait to see y'all there.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you soon at Victory North.
Okay. All right, man. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
Your baby.